I'm Suzy, and welcome to 30 Minutes of Dance. Today's class is a Dancer's Cross Training 101. We will get back to basics today. So clear your space. If you have a yoga mat, I'll be using that, but you can always use a rug. I also have a block and a strap that we'll use once we come down to the floor today. You could use a hand towel, a pillow, a really big book if you need some support as we come onto our backs. So, as always, work in your own range of motion, your own pace, have water nearby. You can be barefoot with me or wear dance shoes, athletic shoes, whatever helps you feel supported. And then let's spread our energy out. You can either be on your mat or on your rug, thumbs up, it's gonna be a good day, and reach your arms out wide to the side. So we begin just by coming into a sense of steadiness, a nice wide base. And we'll warm the body from the ground up, just starting to plie, parallel, second position. But let's bring a little circular motion to our plies today so that you feel this easy footing from side to side. Yeah, it's all in the weight shift. All right, easy does it. Up and over, and I'm just taking the hands because it helps me sort of feel that motivation to feel the circle. So if it feels better for you, you could keep the hands on the hips, sort of cinch the waist. Or if bigger is in your body today, then we'll circle the arms up and over, out to the right, up and over to the left. Giving me some jazz hands on the way up and across. I'm just feeling that plie and the weight shift. Now let's go in the other direction. So it might start smaller, right through the middle, up and over, one foot the other, up and over, maybe a little bigger. If you need, hands cinch the waist. Feeling this drop swing, the suspension, the anchor in the feet, and how that channels up into the hips and maybe up into the ribs and into the arms, and we create this circle. And notice how the breath is helping to support the movement in the legs, at the core, and in the upper body. One more. Back to the middle. Now just swing the hips, right and left. Maybe one arm comes in front. Again, the essence of the movement from the ground up. And then just an easy sort of nod, yeah, with the arms and the upper body to this hip swing. Other arm reaches across. Yeah, and it's easy. It doesn't have to be any bigger than this. Warming up the feet and the hips. Taking a deep breath, and then let's take both arms. Just easy sway right and left. Now, in your body, if it feels better to keep the heels on the ground, stay nice and even. If it feels okay to push off and point the toes, parallel. Last little bit parallel here. Now we're dancing. Right, it's so easy, so gentle, just moving for movement's sake. For goodness sake, let the arms go side to side, a little higher now, perhaps. And then gently, let's take the hands to the hips, tap out, plie and tap, down through the middle, maybe a little bit more of a descent. And this plie to one foot, right, little balance there. Now let's add the arm, still warming up, reach right, reach left. When you reach up, pull in, sort of corset at your center, sitting back and down. Yeah, just as you reach now, take it across, left and right. Gathering your energy. And now back up and over the top. Side to side. Reaching. And then across. Sweeping. Feel easy turn, easy twist. Then back to the middle. Let's come to second position plie. So turning it out, but functional turnout, right? Doesn't have to be too wide. Just keep it more like 45-degree angle. And then as you drop down through your center, check to see that the inner thigh is moving to the outer knee and that your knees are tracking or in line with your second and third toes. Yeah, so as you sort of plant your root and ground down through the center, tailbone moves straight down, low belly hugs in towards the back of the body. So demi-plie and reach. And drop, swing arms cross and suspend, opposite arm. So you catch that little rebound. And then the upper body, again, it's easy, free. Only go as high or as wide as feels good to you. And again, checking in, are the knees tracking over the toes? Is the tailbone straight down towards the earth? And the frontal hip points lifting upward slightly, like the pelvis itself is a bowl. Yeah, and you don't want to tip the energy out or pour the energy out in front, but you want to feel like you're able to support this reservoir of energy in the pelvis. So hopefully you're feeling the quads stretch up nice and tall here. Come back to parallel. Bring the hands to your hips. Then let's heel toe the feet back in towards hips width, right underneath yourself. Now from here, take a plie. I'm gonna angle just so you can see, but rather than like a jazz plie, we go straight up and down, we'll sit back into a chair. And then the right heel lifts, and then plie into the chair. The left heel lifts. Like you're walking in place here, hands can stay at the hips. All right, just articulate through the arch of the foot, sitting back in the chair, or you could take the arms and reach them out in front, or up to the sky. Yeah. Yeah, and play with the pulse, maybe right arm and left, a little opposition here, up and over, or keep the hands right at the hips. And you're treading. Now walk in place a little. Now just let it kind of tread. Yeah, prancy, but in place. Feeling that lift again, this sort of pelvic bowl energy. You're lifting, recycling your energy, recirculating. I'm gonna turn to the center just to be with you. And then reach down. Now you might stay on the balls of the feet. Yeah, right here. Keep it low, keep it grounded. Or up and point. Reaching. Yeah, sort of have like a pony feel. If you like, a little double up. Just getting a feel for the rhythm. And different rhythm perhaps in the lower body than the upper body. Let yourself dance. Arms up and down. Little pony. Good. Now, last little bit here. Let's take our little pony stride to the right. Take it right. Pause. Left. Right. And left. And right. And left. We'll change up. And change. Good. So feeling it in the outer hips. One more each side. Nice and warm. Take the legs wide. Plie. And then sweep the arms up. So sort of a ground plie. Little wider, perhaps slightly deeper, but that gauge is the inner thigh to outer knee, and the second and the third toes. As you track, 3 more. Good, last one. Excellent. Parallel, hands to hips. Turn to your right, hips width. Easy stride, doesn't have to be too wide. And then take a lunge, like you're just reaching out on the diagonal here, and pull some energy in. Reach out, palms away, and pull in. A little lean. Start to warm up. Oh, the hamstring, feel that as you lean into it. Good, one more. And then bend the back leg, turn the knee out slightly, turn the foot out to track, knee and foot. And then you're just gonna tap out the right leg. All right, turn it in, turn it out. Your tempo. Flex it back. Activate the front of the leg. Pull in through your low belly. Excellent, come back. Big shift to the other side. Now we come hips width, short stride, reach out on the diagonal, and then you're gonna pull in. So lean up and over, hinging at the hip, pull in and gather. Inhale, feel that stretch across the back of the leg, inner thigh to inner heel. Good, inhale, pull the navel in as you pull the elbows in. And then from here, shift, turn the back toes out slightly, inner thigh to outer knee, keeping the knee nice and safe. Pull in and up through the front rim of your pelvis as you open the back of the leg. And then just tap it out for yourself here. Turn the foot in and out. And this may be slower. Yeah, honor your body. And then from here, flex the toes back, hinge at the hip, say hello to the back of the leg, peel the toes back toward you, wake up the quad, the front of the thigh, and then from here, shift the weight to stand. Excellent, I hope you feel like you're breathing a little deeper now, more connected to the base of support. And then let's take this energy to the floor. So come to the top of your mat, have your props nearby and handy. And then that same little hinge squat that we did back, right, like a chair pose, we'll inhale, reach the palms forward and up, and then exhale, bring your palms to your thighs. Now, you can stay bent in the knees, but the idea is that we're like pushing off the thighs to lengthen the spine, pulling the navel in. As you rest your hands on your thighs, straighten the right leg, bend the left, and then alternate. Bend the left, straighten the right. I might have said the same thing twice. Alternate, there we go, as you go side to side. Now, bend both knees, plant the hands, try to lengthen the spine like you're at the edge of a pool and you're gonna dive into the deep end here. And then from here, bend the knees a little deeper. Now you might use a chair to support you or a block to help guide you down as you step one leg back to a lunge. Now the other leg steps back as you plant your hands. Crawling it into all fours, and feel free to fold over your mat if you need a little more cushion underneath the knees. Now from here, wag your tail side to side. When we were standing, we took that little circle for the pelvis. Let's explore the idea of that here as you shift your weight to your left and then sink the hips towards your heels. Now shift the weight to your right, feel the palms nice and steady, and then come back to evenly distribute the weight between your hands. So shift left, circle back, maybe hips towards heels, any amount, swing right, back to center, pull the navel in, claw the floor. Again, circle left. So we're stirring at the hips, releasing the low back, and feeling the strength in our core and the strength in the upper body. Take one more. swing it forward and around. Now from here, if it feels okay to you to settle the heels back towards your hips, any amount works. If you just want to come off of your hands, even bring the palms up. This is a nice way to release in between, right? Doesn't have to look like everybody else. Do what works for you, right? That's cross-training 101. Do what you need to do to keep your body feeling centered and strong and connected and your energy positive as you shift your weight, right? So kind of like knead the floor here, like cat paws, as you alternate side to side. And now we'll swing our hips to the right. So we weight shift. Feel that the chest is over your right shoulder. Swing the hips back. Sink and settle the hips down towards your heels, any amount, and then circle to the left. Feel the weight between both arms evenly, and then swing right. Coil in, pull the belly in as you swing left. Again, honor your knees, come back to neutral, pull the navel in. And again, stirring, gather, back to center, and then sitting back, big toes toward one another, either hips drop down, you could also tent the hands if that helps, or stay on your forearms, perhaps even palms open, and keep the head long on the spine. Pull the navel in. See if you can integrate the front body into the back body. Excellent. From here, take a deep breath. Walk your hands back underneath you. Curl your toes under. So this first variation is really just exploring kind of some crawling. So you'll step your left hand forward and your right knee forward slightly. And then come back to neutral. Right hand, left knee, come back to neutral. And then just try that a couple times. So it's kind of like kneading the floor, right? Now we're crawling. And then opposite side, one more. Notice how this initiates at your center. And you sense the diagonal lines in the body. Last one. Come back to center. Now from here, just to come off of the knees, walk your hands in slightly, curl your toes under. We'll straddle the mat so that this is not dramatic at all. You're gonna shift the weight, maybe even hands a little closer into you. Shift the weight to your legs, and then right here, you're like ready to pounce. You're gathered and centered here. Walk your right foot out, and then your left. So we go off-road. Legs are wider than your mat so that there's very little weight in your hands. So you can kind of test the waters there. Easy knees, you can have a bend in the knees and crease at the hips, right? So we're not rounding the spine or tucking under. Find the dog tilt, find the natural slope and flow of the spine. And then as we plant your hands, there's very little weight here. I want you to, again, knead, like you're sort of like weeding and reach up. And then plant your paw, and then gather, pull up the roots, and sweep the arm out to the side. So just play with that, going side to side. Notice, do I need to wag the tail to one direction? Do I need to maybe bend the same leg as the arm that's down? What gives me more access, more freedom through the spine? What helps me feel grounded? And we're opening up the backs of the legs without making it too challenging, I hope, as you have that wiggle room, that room to shift side to side. Last one, come back to center. Now let's walk the hands out. So again, we crawl, and as you're crawling the hands out, crawl the feet back in. Feet a little wider than hips width. Keep the knees bent, pike the hips up. This is a variation on your down dog here, if you were doing yoga. And then coming to child's pose, right? And as dancers, we need to feel that whole body strength, the access of the backs of the legs, the opening through the front of the body, the length through the spine. Now gently bring yourself onto your belly. So you can use your forearms, walk the knees back, and then pull in and lower down. Now, I'm gonna slide my block just out of the way so I've got a little more freedom, a little more wiggle room. And then plant the hands underneath your forehead as you bend your knees and windshield wiper the legs side to side. So release the low back. Easy swing of the toes. And then extend the legs long, hips width. Try to press the tops of your pinky toes down onto the floor. And then come up toward your forearms for Sphinx pose. Now, Sphinx is this beautiful way to connect the front body with the back body without doing a push-up or even full plank. You can get the essence of drawing the front of the body into the back body, pressing down through the tops of the feet, and then pulling the heart, the spine forward. So you can relax for a moment, let it all just sort of wiggle out, and then press the floor away from you. Imagine you're pulling your elbows toward the back of the mat, and that you're kicking your feet towards the front of the mat. So you activate and contain your energy across the front body to open up the back body. Now release, let it wiggle, let it squirm. And once more, press, lift the front body to the back body, integrate, pull with the elbows. So you're trying to pull yourself across the room like this, and then kick down through the tops of the feet like you're kicking the elbows towards the toes, toes towards the elbows. Feel how much work that is in mid back, upper back, belly. Lift your navel a little higher. If you giggle, it's core work. Yes, and then exhale, release, come off the elbows. Rest your head on your forehead again. And then one last thing here, and it'll look different for all of us perhaps. So as you come into this, feel free to rest your head on your hands. As I demo, I'm gonna sort of look in your direction, but you can watch once and then plant your forehead and then join in. We'll start with just the right leg bent and the foot is flexed. And then the work is to try to pull your abdomen up off the floor and then lift your thigh bone just a smidge off the floor and relax, unfold the leg. Again, same leg, flex the foot, curl the hip or the heel toward the hip, then pull the abdomen up, navel lifts, and see if that can help rebound and lift the thigh off the floor any amount. Release. Let's try that once again. Flex, curl, gather, and lift. And then gently release the leg. Wiggle. Notice the difference in the length of your legs. We're also waking up the backside, right? Waking up the glutes so that you can stand taller. You can really sit taller here. As you inhale, flex the left leg now. You're gonna flex the heel toward the hip. Activate the front of the body like a suction cup. You're gonna peel your navel off the floor and then try to lift the left thigh any amount without the knee winging out to the side. Now lower and release. Again, flex the foot, curl the heel in, pull the navel in, and then float the leg any amount. And release. Once again, inhale, flex, gather, keep breathing, lift the leg, and release. Now wiggle it out. Last one, and please pace yourself with this because it's harder than it looks, okay? Now, as you come onto your forehead, perhaps you bend both legs. Again, you could do one at a time, just the right, then the left, like you're taking a walk through the clouds here, right? And left. Keep breathing. Imagine the inner thighs have like magnets so that you're not allowing the knees to bow out to the side. Flex the foot, one more each side, and then gently release. Let it wiggle. Walk your hands in like you're body surfing here. Press into the tops of your feet. And then imagine you're trying to pull, if it's the mat or the rug, toward you. Rather than pushing, I want you to imagine you're pulling. So this is an extended cobra. And you can keep your elbows down if it feels better, but wide press. And then imagine you're pulling. So I'm pulling my elbows and my knees pressing down and toward one another, my hips and my heart pulling toward one another, the hands and the feet even trying to pull toward one another. Feel how that's waking up the back of the body. Try to not grip your low glute there, and then let it all go. Rock it out, let your toes go side to side again. And then gently rolling over to your side. Have your block nearby and your strap handy as well as you come onto your side, and then inch yourself onto your back. So that pose we were just in, now we're simply going to flip it so that it's upward facing. And as you come onto your back, on the inhale, let's press the palms down into the floor. Keep your head on your spine. Again, you can always look at one of these and then join back in so that you keep your head on your spine rather than looking at me. Yeah, look inward. But it's simple. You've probably done this one before. It's a hip lift, up and over, a little bridge. Imagine you're hugging the inner thighs together and then come back down towards the floor. Now with your block nearby, you can make this slightly more active. Place the block when it's narrowest between your inner thighs. You can either press down through the palms, maybe even hold your mat and try to peel the mat open. Then squeeze the daylight out of the block and lift your hips to lift the heart. So you can feel how this is the same shape we were just in on our belly. So see if you might integrate the core here. Try to connect the front and the back body. Imagine you're trying to really press into the feet even more vigorously, and that you're trying to pull the heels towards your hips. Now slowly come back down. Let's try that twice more. Inhale. Again, you can press down, hold the mat. You might even interlace and snuggle the shoulder blades together. When you get there, try to zip it all up. Slowly come down. Excellent. One more time. Plant your feet, hug the block, lift the hips over the heart, and then arms wherever feels true to you. Sense the tailbone reaching towards the backs of the knees. This time lift your heels perhaps and come on down. Now take the block from underneath or from between the inner thighs and we're going to place it underneath the hips. So lie down, then take that lift of the bridge. This is why we bridge. And then take the block underneath the weight of your pelvis. So the plate of the pelvis, right, that little triangle, right at the low back to the tailbone is resting on the support. This could be your novel if you don't have a block. It could also be a pillow, like a couch cushion, something that has a little more oomph to it. And then as you come to relax here, allow the toes to go wider, the knees to turn inward, and we come on to our back to relax and release the low back. So as you inhale, fill the abdomen. As you exhale, imagine the navel is draining down into the earth. The back of the navel just sifting downward, spreading out, releasing from our standing poses. And from the work on our belly, now we want to feel that all that awakening through the backside. we can spread that energy out, that awareness to every cell of our body now, every cell of your being, breathing in, awake, aware, and then as you exhale, relaxing, releasing, peaceful and calm. Take a deep breath. Now feel how that internal rotation of the legs helps to relax the thigh bones and to funnel the weight of the legs into the hips, into the pool. Yes, this basin of support at the pelvis. Now you could stay here or heel toe the feet, drawing your left leg long and straight as if you were standing on this leg. Here's a place where you can feel a stretch for the inner thigh, the frontal hip. It's enough to stay here, or consider drawing your right knee in toward you. You can hold that shin if your strap is nearby. And if you feel like you need slightly longer arms or legs, then just lasso the strap around your shin. Again, opposite leg is active. We're really reaching through the sole of that foot. All the work we did standing in the beginning, feel like you're pushing through that here now. Press into that standing leg. Now your choice, again, connecting to the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, which help to release our low back as well. You could take the strap around the base of the ball of the foot and then gently extend, maybe bend and straighten a few times as your body's interested. Yeah, just stay interested. There's no goal. You're just staying present with what is. Consider stretching the leg and staying here for a breath or two or more. Allowing the weight of the shoulders to drop down and in. Pressing through all four corners of your foot. And finding the core work of lifting the legs. So it's not all hands, it's not all arms and shoulders, but the center connecting the limbs. The breath connecting all parts. Take a deep inhale, stretch the whole length of the spine, really stretch up and out through the crown of the head, push down and out through the soles of the feet. And then exhale, release the strap, snuggle the knee in, plant your foot, use the hand perhaps to assist the opposite leg. Take a moment here. Take a little circle of the hips here. Same circle we did in the very beginning, that same easy weight shift. Side to side, up and over and around to massage the low back. And then switch the direction. Take 3 or 4 circles in the other direction. So be gentle with yourself. Yeah, if you have the block, you might find some tender spots, so don't overdo it. We're just releasing into this as we try the other side. Perhaps windshield wiper the legs slightly, right and left, without being overwhelmed or pulled off center. And now extend your right leg long. Snuggle the left knee in. Now it's enough to stay planted and breathing through the right leg. Imagine you're hugging a block between the inner thighs. Or consider staying with the leg drawing inward. Gravity can do the work for you. Or use the strap and lasso it around. Shrug the shoulders down the back. Inhale. Again, this is a great place to stay. Keep stretching the bottom leg. It's more about the bottom leg. If you choose, lasso the base of the ball of the foot and give it a kick. Bend and straighten as you're drawn. Setting the outer hip down. Just easy does it here, right? And perhaps you come to clasp, walk the hands up, press through the inner heel. Relax the neck, the shoulders, the jaw. This is our last little bit here, breathing in and out. Excellent. As you gather the knee back in, plant both feet. Lift your hips. Take the hips on a little swing, side to side. Plant the block and roll to your side. So let's rewind it and bring you back up to see how you feel as you come to all fours. And again, you might settle towards child's pose. Use your block or your chair. And then gently bring yourself forward in a lunge. From the lunge, we'll push off the back leg, 2 feet or 1. Sit down into the chair and push the arms towards straight. Take one hand to your belly, one hand to your hip. Bring the pelvis to stand tall. And see how you feel. Stretch up. I hope you're feeling so good and grounded, connected at your center. I'm Suzy. Thank you for dancing with me today. And